All right, everybody, I'm back. Hello. Hey, everybody, Mr. Kevin from HumboldtCraftworks here in a beautiful, warm, kind of muggy day here in Humboldt County, California. So this next little video I made on how to make cove molding on the table saw. You can make little cove moldings. You can make little trays like this. Here's a bigger one. You can make all sorts of different sizes. I don't know how to show this the best, but anyway. And then we got a ginormous one, which I use these in jewelry boxes sometimes, just for putting little trays in. Sometimes I make little stash things out of them. I'll put a picture right here. Yeah, and that's all. This is all done on the table saw. And this is the piece that I made the other day on the table saw right here. This here thing. It's not too hard to do. Hello. So what I use to make this is just a rip blade on the table saw. Has 24 teeth, which works really good for keeping the cut clean. I've tried them with 60 tooth blades and 80 tooth blades and triple chip blades and blah 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 and alternating tooth, and the rip blade works the best. Square, 24 teeth. I think it has less friction and it cuts really well, and you can see you hardly even need to sand this at all. You can either make trays or you can make crown molding, and if you make crown molding, I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm coming like this here. Hello. Let me see. Oh, there. Yeah, you can see little angles. And you can cut little angles like this way, boom, boom, and then you back cut it to whatever you want to make your molding. If you want to learn more about making that, you can comment down below. So, and this is what we're going to do. I'll show you how I make cove molding on the table saw. It's one of the hokiest jigs I've ever made. I made this thing about 20 years ago. I thought, oh man, look at that, I can make my own cove molding. Yay! And you can. And it's pretty cool. If you have a shaper, it's much easier. You just set up your shaper and cove it. But if you don't have that, and I didn't at the time, this is the way to go. You can also make jigs for sanding. This, and it's pretty easy to do. I have a piece of just a piece of poplar that I just took and traced, and you trace this onto a hunk of wood. So you just trace it on there, and then you cut it out, and it comes out looking like this. All right, I made this on the edge sander, and I just basically did the same thing. I took a piece of wood, do it like this. Take a piece of wood, and you trace this out after it's made on a hunk of wood, and then you go over to your edge sander and you sand it. You got to be careful not to sand out the tips of your fingers. And then you have a piece like this. You wrap it with sandpaper, put it on there, and sanding you shall go. Works pretty good. Almost nothing you can't make on the table saw. If you had to buy one tool, I'd say I only got so much money and I need to buy one tool because I want to do woodworking. What should I do? Buy a table saw. Hey everybody. So I had to reshoot my my cove molding video thing I did. That's why I'm a different color, different day, and hopefully this lighting's way better. So this mark right here, right there, is top dead center of this blade. Center of this is right here, okay? Right there. So let me just bring this blade up. Okay, see how it is? So you'll know where the center of that thing is. It's very important you know where the center is. So for different widths, this one's gonna be a little different because it's narrower, right? But your center is never gonna change. Wherever your center is, it's center. What's gonna change is how far this blade goes across this piece of wood. So if I go like this, it's going to be narrow, okay? So if you're going on a steep angle like this, which I don't know if I can do because of the way my jig's set up, it would be a very narrow cut. All right, so if I rip this down the middle with my jig on there, it would be an 1/8 inch wide. If I came over slightly, 2 or 3 degrees, it would be wider because I'd be hitting this part and this part of the blade. A little wider. The more you go to your left, the wider the cut is. because you're hitting down here and up here at the same time, making this wider. And as you go around and go around and go around, the wider it gets. Let's say this is 3/4 and I raise it to 5/8. I would have an 1/8 inch space in here, right? And that I could do. But the farther out I go this way, the faster it gets wide. So you kind of have to experiment with this. But once you experiment with it, you'll go, oh, that's how it goes, and it won't be so hard. The hokey jig. So before we put the jig down, we want to lower the blade all the way down. I rarely use featherboards at all. This is the time to use featherboards. And before you set this up, take the featherboards off your jig so you can actually see what you're doing. I cannibalized these off of some router table, something or other I had somewhere. I'm not sure where I got these little screw things. I don't know if you can see that right here. It came off a toilet or something. I mean, you know, one of those closet bolts for the putting on your toilet. This is a big one. These little things slide into your table saw slot. So we set this in here. You know where top dead center is. It's right there. That's your center line. Take your center line there. You line it up with the center line here. Huh? All right, like that. Okay, so your center line and your center line are lined up. Now you just have to figure out how wide do you want your cut. So that's probably as big of an angle as I can go. And these little gizmos are so wore out, I have to use various tools to tighten them up. It takes a little bit of experimentation. The best way to get the final size is to set it out here and then back it off, and just remember how many turns you did. You know, so mine was 1 1/4, and that left this up just barely. Okay, I'm going to close it all the way, go up 1 complete so I can run this across here, because the next step is to put this guy on. Put your fingerboards directly over top dead center. Do that before you tighten them up, not like I just did. You want it to slide through, not get any tighter or any looser. All right, like that. And it's a little loose. Sometimes you can take your dead blow and tap on it before it's super tight. That's pretty good. And give it a good shake. If it doesn't wiggle loose, you're good to go. So the number one thing when you start is make sure you wax your tools. There's a video on waxing your tools right here. It's an infomercial. This is ridiculous. All right, just down there a little tiny snuggie. Make that noise. I'm gonna get a push stick anyway, even though I can't really get it. I could probably push it in till right about there or something. And yeah. So the blade is still down, so I'm gonna go up 1/4 turn. And all we're gonna do is take off a little cut and we'll see how it looks. Ready to go. Equal. So what happens is sometimes it gets off centered a little bit and you got to wiggle waggle it. But if you do the flip method, so you got A on this side and you make your first pass with A this way, and it comes out and it's off skewered a little bit on one side, and then the next pass you just make it this way on B, and it will even them out. So you can see it's not quite centered in there properly. So we have to wiggle these around. I'm gonna get rid of these. I'm just, letting something mechanical do what I should be doing is irritating. Now it is good if you have pieces that are like, 6 to 7 foot long or longer, just to help hold them down as you're pushing the damn piece through. I wouldn't recommend going longer than 6 or 7, 8 feet maybe at the most. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna raise it up just a little bit. Let's see how much room we got. Oh, we got a little room. God, it's so much easier. So you can see that the A side, when it's over there, is cutting more on the right side than the left. So how do we go about curing that problem? So it has to get closer and it has to get wider. Closer towards you, and then out this side has to go out farther. All right, let's see if we are correct. So we pulled it towards us and moved it a little that way. Oh, I got an idea. So I got this here. We can figure out what this is. So So this would be 90 degrees to the fence and all that. And this is reading right here as a single miter cut at pretty much 45 degrees. Huh! 45 degrees. These things are kind of cool to have. All right, here we go. I'm gonna flipper dipper. Let's see if it moves. Let's see. All right, that's pretty good. If you're using a push stick for something like this, make sure the heel of your push stick is super small, because what's going to happen is you go across this way with the El Pusho Sticko, it's going to get rounded over also as well. Getting better. See all the sawdust? There it is. You can see that this side is like 1/8 of an inch, and this side is like 1/16 of an inch. Ooh. So we do the A-B flip over. Okay, we'll put the B on this side now. Putting the B side that way. There it is. So you can also take your jig and mark A here and B here. And that way when you go to run it, you'll have the A side here and B side there, like that. Like that. And there is a sweet spot. So this is 45 degrees according to my ProSight Series Starrett. Also not a sponsor, very expensive, silly thing here. Yeah, there's a sweet spot in here. There always is. You got to muck with these things a little bit. It's not like, oh yeah, you do this and you set it exactly at 22.5 degrees and it works out beautifully. It depends on the width of your board, I think, is where it is. That's why you always come up, you mark everything in the center, and you mark all your center spots, and you make a cut and you figure out what you got to adjust. And as I said before, you got to watch this sawdust here. It will get hot and steamy, and it will actually change the color of your table saw. It'll rust it if you're not careful. And there you go. How to make Cove molding or trays on your table saw. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below. I'll answer them as soon as I can. I promise. And then, because I know I go fast and I don't make sense half the time. You should see me trying to edit these things. One step at a time. All right, well, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. So thanks for being you and hanging out with me. And I'll see you the next time on Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. That's me. Thanks for watching. Yeah. Whatever that means. I don't know. Now it's all fuzzy. This is very strange. Boom, boom. Am I still in focus? Okay. I hope I'm in tune. I can't see squat. What should I do? All right. Well, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel and you like the thing, hit the like button and subscribe. It's not hard. Just hit the little button. Subscribe. It's easy. So thanks for being you and hanging out with me. And I'll see you the next time on Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. That's me. If you got a friend that you can't stand because they're all stuffy and grumpy, share this video with them just to piss them off, because I make silly, dumb videos, and a lot of serious people don't like it.